In my last video, I made a tribute to Akira Toriyama and how the video game department of his franchise changed my life. But since the video was only strictly about video games, I didn't converse about the show, nor did I talk about other franchises Toriyama played a part in whenever it came to the inspiration. Specifically anime from what is commonly known as the Big Three. And in today's case, I want to talk about Bleach. Tite Kubo, or Tite Kubo, wrote Bleach on August 7, 2001, and went on to write the manga for about 15 to 16 years. A shonen anime about a boy named Ichigo Kurosaki and his life on becoming a Soul Reaper. I've gotta be real, on a personal note, I'm a killer for shonen anime, so automatically Bleach has made it to the top of my list, or somewhere around there. Just like my Lord and Savior said, do not be conformed by the ways of this world. So you already know I won't let non-Bleach watchers change the way I see this beautiful series. But at the same time, I always felt like it was missing something. And since we're already on the topic of Big Three, in my opinion, this was the more underrated part of that. I'm here to break down the pros and cons of the series, to not only explain what I thought the show lacked, but what I thought they did better than any other series. With that being said, let's get straight into it. One thing no one will ever be able to tell me is that the villains weren't top tier in the series. Like, I've never been in a debate and somebody just said out of nowhere, Aizen isn't top 5 villains of all anime. Because he most certainly is, but it's not just him. I mean, you got Ukiura, Grimmjow, the Espada as a whole, and even Yuhaba. I don't even know how to say that man's name. But if you watch the series, you know Bleach doesn't play about their villains. That's enough said. The pros get a point. Let's talk about power system. From what I've noticed, Bleach has a very similar power system to Yu Yu Hakusho and Jujutsu Kaisen, where out of everyone in the world, a select few were either born or given something called spiritual energy, or spiritual awareness in this case. But for Bleach, your powers are awakened when you either become a Quincy, an Arrancar, or a Soul Reaper. I specifically say Arrancar because you aren't that much of a package deal whenever you're a Hollow or something beforehand. So you aren't able to casually push out Ceros like the Arrancars or the Espada do, or like awakening your Resurrection, or for Vizard's case, just putting on your Hollow Mask. I've got to say that the Soul Reaper system isn't as complex considering everyone had a Zanpakuto. But being one of the only anime to personalize your sword, and on top of that giving it an awakening, is a very creative move by Kubo. But I can't forget about spiritual pressure. Pretty much the icing on the cake for having a lot of spiritual energy, or even having a huge power up. Like that feeling you have when your mom comes home and them dishes ain't done? Yeah, it's a wrap, buddy. The pros get another point. Unfortunately, I can't keep making this video about all the things I love about Bleach. So let's talk about something I don't like. As many of y'all already know, the story of Bleach starts off with a girl named Rukia, who's a Soul Reaper who came from something called the Serete. Soul Reapers like her come out of this world and into the real one so they can defeat something called Hollows. But when Rukia gets unlucky one time, the only thing she can do is put her faith in one boy who has spiritual awareness. That 15-year-old boy is Ichigo Kurosaki, the main character of the show. Pretty cool, right? But not really. I can't lie. There's nothing wrong with how Ichigo and Rukia started. But right after that, that stuff was actually boring. It was pretty much a period of time where they were just introducing the main characters of the show. And while I have nothing bad to say about the side character's personality, a hook like that doesn't really do well whenever it comes to a main character who isn't as ambitious as other main characters. And that's not to say an anime needs a main character where they have just the craziest ambition ever. But having an NC that has a goal that's either personal or selfless can help the series flow a little bit from time to time. And no, wanting to protect your friends doesn't count. But Ichigo isn't a boring MC, so he doesn't really need that. I'm gonna give pros a point for a cool main character, but I'm also going to give the cons a point for a bad hook. Next we've got the side characters, and like I said before, these characters definitely have personality, and that's what you need. But that doesn't always mean they're going to be well written. And this also has to do with their power scaling. Something Bleach kinda does bad in, I'm not even gonna lie. You mean to tell me as soon as this man was ready to pick up a sword, he was already better than most lieutenants? You could say all you want, but Ichigo infiltrated the Soul Society, fought lieutenants that were authorized by Old Man Yama himself, unlocked his Bankai, fought one of the 13th Court Guard Squad captains and won, and you want to tell me that isn't poor power scaling? Not to mention Ichigo goes through his first training arc where it's not rushed, yet the same lieutenants and captains who got folded by Ichigo all of a sudden became around the same level as him? Maybe they realized they needed to lock in? Where was this energy in the Soul Reaper arc? Come on, bro. I'll talk about Ichigo's hollow powers in another video, but there is no reason you should be able to keep up with Soul Reaper officials like that, let alone Kenpachi. And I hate to say it, but my man Hitsugaya is a fraud. My man has a crazy design and is supposed to be a young prodigy, but this man has 0 feet on his belt. I'm just hoping he cooks in 1,000-Year Blood War. That's all I have to say. It just feels like Ichigo runs the show. And I mean, it does. He is the main character. But that isn't always necessarily good. So I gotta give the cons 2 more points for lack of side character feats and poor power scaling. Now let's talk about the main aspects of the show. For starters, the character designs. I quite literally have no complaints here. Everyone looks clean. Everyone in the 13 core guard squads, all of the Arankars, Ichigo's main group, and many other side characters just have amazing character designs. There's nothing bad I can say about this here. Everyone looks fire. And don't even get me started on those fits, boy. Show me another manga artist that makes their characters drip more than this. Don't play with my boy Ichigo. A point for the pros. Another part of that actually supports this is the consistently well done animation. I have to admit, and this is not to throw shade to One Piece and Naruto, and are most definitely big 3 for a reason. But one thing I have to say that Bleach does better than both of them is the consistently well done animation. Of course, the first designs for Bleach characters were a little bit wonky, but that doesn't mean that they were full on horrible. And like I said, not to throw shade, but that's just how I see it. Another point to the pros. Yo, the pros are getting a little bit too much points. I think I have to pull out my trump card. I can't let you be having too much fun, bro. Let's talk about their absurd amount of filler. You mean to tell me that there's a 45% count of filler episodes in Bleach? 163, by the way. And don't even get me started on that bout arc, boy. All filler from Bleach isn't even that bad. But if you're gonna start watching Bleach this year, just go ahead and skip it, bro. The bout arc is not worth it, dog. A point for the cons. I'm sorry, I had to get that out there. It just seems like it was winning too much, bro. I just needed to hate a little bit. But that's enough hating. Can we talk about the beautiful music that's in this series? Whether you want to listen to something emotional, something chill, or something straight up hype, bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Bleach does it best. I'll point for the pros. Now, I could talk about the show being a little bit too fan servicey or not really knowing when to put funny moments. But if I've got to be real, these aren't really actually bad aspects of the show. In fact, I think they tell a story about the writer themselves. So I think I'll dedicate just a little bit of time to tell you what I personally don't like about the show. And this is something I have a problem with in Naruto as well. I want to talk about the poor writing and the romantic aspect, specifically for the main characters and their future wives. This is a spoiler warning, by the way. So if you haven't watched Bleach yet and you're actually interested in getting into the series, I suggest you skip the video to go to this timestamp right now. The problem I have with romance in Bleach is that Ichigo and Orihime only seem cute at face value, but Ichigo does more to hurt than help this relationship. I mean, just listen to what Ichigo says, bro.
Well, I'm heavy.
Nah, don't sweat it. You're not as heavy as you look.
I'm telling you right now, no girl in the world wants to hear that from the guy they like. That's just enough said right there. But imagine that same guy is spending 95% of the time in the series with your friend. I mean, bro, just look at the way they look at each other. They even had a skating scene together. Orihime wasn't present, by the way. When Ichigo and Rukia weren't on the battlefield, Rukia was in this man's bedroom. Even Nail saw it, so that definitely says something, bro. Orihime, go ahead and throw in the towel, bro. Is what I would have said if Ichigo and Orihime hadn't gotten married. Them getting married isn't really bad since they have known each other since they were kids, but where Ichigo put his interest and time in kind of makes you question that. I'll point for the cons. The last and final thing I want to talk about is the plot of the show, which is actually not that bad at all. At first, the Soul Society is corrupted as a whole. Central 46 make unjust decisions, and you see this corruption in just about 70% of the series. Ichigo's ambition to change all of that is actually beautiful. And although Ichigo doesn't say it out loud, his determination and his actions speak for him. A point for the pros. It seems like the pros have won this one, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really expect otherwise considering Bleach is just a top tier series. It's big 3 for a reason, but don't just take my analysis on the show. Go watch Bleach yourself. If you're a big fan of shonen, you're going to guarantee enjoy it. And if you've already watched the series, go ahead and tell me who your favorite Bleach character is. Maybe even some of your favorite Bleach soundtracks or something you liked about the show. Or even put your favorite arc down there in the comments. But that's all I've got for now. With that being said, thanks for tuning in on Beyond Topic, and take care.